Knicks family, what's poppin' with you? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we watched the Knicks last night lose a tough one to the Portland Trailblazers. Immanuel Quickley showed up and showed out. It's earning respect around the league, ladies and gentlemen. Earning respect around the league. Immanuel Quickley. He's doing his thing. Dame Lillard. Donovan Mitchell, who we face next. Anyway, let's start to talk about it, man. A few other things we're going to talk about is COVID-19 giving an unfair advantage to teams. And we'll take a look at what happened with the Knicks in Portland last night. And then Obi. Are you worried about Obi Toppin? Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. I got my man T. Crow here with me. And, we're going to go ahead and start to break some of these things down, man. Tony, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on, Sim? Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time.
I'm chilling, man.
I'm feeling
good.
better than last night. I guess the reason you made this show, it worked.
Yeah.
Calm down. Had some time to, get some sleep and relax. I was definitely tired.
Right.
But so I feel a little bit better tonight. This afternoon.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better. I wasn't too mad about the loss. I was upset because we got down 25 points, but, we did fight back. You let a fight of the team and all of that. The team is better than that, though. And I think the hard thing for some fans to realize is that this is a growing process for the entire team, and growing ain't pretty. You know what I mean? You're gonna take your lumps. You're gonna be up and down. Things are gonna change. Things are gonna move around. It's just not pretty. And the Knicks are going through that process, but I think it's a positive process and one that we've got to go through in order to be a successful team. So I feel okay about last night. But we'll jump right in with Quickley, man. Quickley is earning his respect around the league. You had Damian Lillard. I mean, when you see Damian Lillard, when you see Quickley on the foul line and Damian Lillard is making comments to him, you got his respect. You know what I'm saying? And basically Damian Lillard said about Quickley, and I got the wrong thing up there, but Damian Lillard, he basically said he's one of my favorite players in the league. He said he's one of my favorite players. He didn't say one of my favorite players in the league, but he said he's one of my favorite players. If you're Immanuel Quickley, man, a guy that you've been looking up to, you got to be excited about that, right? I mean, you got to feel ecstatic, a guy that you've been looking up to and probably have modeled your game after, kind of. You know what I'm saying? You probably feel like you just feel ecstatic about it. I couldn't imagine being a young guy going into the NBA and you got Dame Lillard on Portland. You got Melo, right? Obi probably looked up to Melo, given that they play similar positions. Quickly probably looked up to Dame, and then now you're facing off against these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a crazy feeling. And then to hear, one of those guys say, he's one of my favorite players. It's got to be exciting, man. Just a quick recap on how you feel. What Quickley did last night, dropping 31. Everybody, just a day ago, you heard all the talk about Tyrese Halliburton, and if the Knicks should have taken Tyrese Halliburton, right? But then Immanuel Quickley says, "Wait a minute, I'm here." You know what I'm saying? What you think, man?
Great for him, man. I love the kid. I think he has all the potential in the world. I think his biggest weakness is probably his size, but it hasn't really been a determining factor in any sense. Like, I don't know if that is to come, but I'm worried about it, but it hasn't been an issue. You know what I mean? But maybe that caused the injury, that it contributed to the injury. But overall, man, I love the kid. He had a great game last night. Um, I still stand on what I did say last night. I'm on the start quickly train. I wasn't initially, but I think he showed some things last night where he's earning the respect of his teammates as well. I seen Randle defer to him. I seen the vets defer to him, which normally wasn't the case early in the season when he played with the vets. He was deferring. He got his shots based off their decisions. This time, I've seen them let him make some decisions. And that was good to see.
Yeah. I think that you mentioned his size, right? I think that there have been a few times when I've seen some people, some players attempt to post him up as he gets around the league a little bit more. They'll probably utilize that, try to post him up. Obviously I've seen bigger his size come into play is when he's going up against heftier guards. Smaller guards, like I thought he did a good job on De'Aaron Fox when he had to play him. Right? De'Aaron Fox, is not that, I'm sure he's strong, you know what I mean? But, his size didn't really play too big of a difference. So I thought Quickley did a good job playing defense on De'Aaron Fox. A couple of other guys that were bigger than him, I thought, was able to go to the basket and kind of push him out the way. But, when you look at his body, he has a body where he's going to get stronger. He's not going to stay thin like that. And he's not too thin, but he's not going to stay that size for the rest of his career. Like some players are going to stay the size that they are for the rest. Look at Derek Jones Jr. that we seen last night, right? He's been that size since forever. He ain't getting no bigger. You know what I mean? He's just a thin dude. Quickley's going to get bigger and stronger. You know what I mean? And he's just gonna get better, and probably defensively. And if anything is keeping him from being in that starting lineup, that's probably what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that, and as you're gonna hear Tibbs talk about now, him understanding what other teams want to do against him, and what he needs to do against other teams. Excuse me. Tibbs seems to be high on that. This is Thibodeau talking about Immanuel Quickley after last night's game.
It's impressive. Again, I think his shot making is a huge asset for our team because that's something that we need. The shooting is what opens up the floor for us. But his all-around play, he gets better with each outing. He puts pressure on people, and defensively he's learning. And as time goes on, he'll get better and better at it.
Mike Borkenoff, The Athletic.
Tom, you mentioned that Quickley gets better with each outing. Aside from the box score numbers themselves, what have you seen him improve at from game to game, especially like tonight?
Well, I think if you could recall the preseason, he was really in a really good rhythm offensively, shooting the ball. And then after getting hurt in the Indiana game, he sort of, that layoff set him back some just because he was out of rhythm when he came back. And so I think he's back into that rhythm, and that was something we were confident about. That's been one of the reasons why we drafted him, is his ability to shoot the ball. But also he's such a great student of the game. And the way he prepares himself for each game, those type of guys with his type of drive, they're going to improve. And I think the second time around, when he plays a team a second and third time, they'll have a better understanding of what they're trying to do to him, and also what they're trying to do offensively. And I think the way he studies, it'll give him a head start. But it's something that he's a great worker. He's a great teammate. People like to play with him. If you're open, he hits you. And I think he's adjusted quite well to the NBA game, taking everything into consideration.
Yeah, he's definitely, listen, any rookie that can come in and drop 31 has adjusted well to the NBA game. You know what I'm saying? Do you think, looking back at the draft, do you think that they had their eyes on Quickley all along, or did they have some other plan and they decided we're going to go ahead and get Quickley? What do you think, Tony?
I thought they had their eyes on RJ Hampton. But a lot of people questioned him being picked where he was picked, rather than saying he would be around at the next pick. And that being said, they had to have value to him, because they either didn't believe he was gonna be there, or didn't want to take the chance. And I'm a big believer in not taking that chance. If you have a chance to get the guy that you like, get him. You don't wait and hope he falls into another position for you.
Yeah.
So I think he was on their board.
He was on the board, right. And when you hear John Calipari talk about him, I mean, he's, he glowed about him, and that he's ready to produce now, and we're seeing it. That he's definitely ready to produce in the NBA. You know what I mean? And his ability to draw those fouls, almost like a vet can, with the way that he uses his body. He's a pretty good actor at times. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I seen last night he drew a foul, right? But he started, his facial motions started, like before he even got hit. You know what I'm saying? But but still, he has that ability to draw fouls, and it's almost amazing that he has that ability to draw so many fouls. Some players just have this natural ability to do it, and you don't know what it is, how it is. Like you had players like Carmelo Anthony, right, who drew a lot of contact, but he initiated a lot of that contact. And so referees were like, hey, you play that bully ball type of game, we're not going to give you that call. Immanuel Quickley, he initiates some of the contact, but somehow he's able to, it doesn't look like he initiates the contact. You know what I mean? And, that's a good positive thing for him, going forward. So big shout out to Quickley, man. He's earning his respect around the league, and sooner or later he's going to be in that rookie ladder. Now, of course, when you start to earn some respect and people start to hear your name around the league, now they start the game plan for you, right? And then that's where Tom Thibodeau has to. He's going to know that teams are going to start the game plan for him, and Tom Thibodeau is going to have to help him out in some of those situations when teams start to say, hey, this kid likes to do this kid likes to do that. I think one thing that people might recognize is that if you put a really strong guard on him and put some pressure on him, you can bottle him up a little bit. So Thibodeau is going to have to recognize when teams have scouted him and game planned, and help him make those adjustments on the fly. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think he's going to be. He'll be mentioned in that rookie ladder soon enough, and if he continues to play and do the things that he's doing, obviously he's going to be up and down, right? He's going to have some really good games. He's going to have some not good games. It's going to be up and down, but that's going to be any rookie that's in the league right now. This is Tommy Beer. The NBA rookie leaders in points per 36 minutes this season. Quickley is at 22.3. James Wiseman at 19.8. Anthony Edwards at 17.7. The NBA rookie leaders in assists per 36 minutes this season. LaMelo Ball at 8.7. Tyrese Halliburton at 6.2. And Immanuel Quickley at 5.2. So, if there's been any worry about the Knicks not getting Tyrese Halliburton, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Halliburton he's a really good player, and I think he's going to be a good player for a long time. Those two guys have two very different games, right? So, you know, we shouldn't confuse that because they do have very different games. You know, Quickley's a scorer. Halliburton is, you know, a facilitator. You know what I mean? Both going to have good careers. Kev, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, nothing too much, man. Salute to the chat, salute to you, Tone.
You sound like you feeling better.
Yeah, yeah. It took a lot of quote unquote soul searching and everything, but yeah, if we, I got everything out that I needed to.
That's why we're here this morning, man, or this afternoon.
Afternoon,
right.
Yeah.
So
we got Utah tomorrow. Let's deal with that and everything.
Right. So we can look at things in a more, after the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything you revved up about it, not you, just saying in general, revved up. We were revved up about this, revved up about that. So now we can look at it, with clearer glasses on.
Here's where where my passion is. The missus kicked me out the room 10 minutes into the half of went into the first quarter. She said, "You got to go downstairs because I got to work the next morning. You got to go downstairs." So I just kept quiet and just walked downstairs and everything. So the joys of marriage. So there you go.
Right. There you go.
I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know if y'all mentioned it, but in that Sacramento game, defensively, did you see Quickley smack Corey Joseph's shot twice when Corey was going up and he blocked it twice? Did you see that?
I think one was a 3, right?
I might have. I think so.
I think so. I was like, okay.
Corey Joseph was making me mad in that game. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting upset with Corey Joseph.
Why? Why?
Because he was coming. Because he was scoring.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Come on, man. Why we letting Corey? I mean, I know he's a decent player, but
score? Yeah. No.
I was getting hot in that game.
I get it. But
Corey Joseph is your quintessential. When you look at Corey Joseph, right, and you get that. I don't know if you played 2K, Kev, but sometimes you get like a first player, and you can choose from guys. He looks like one of the quintessential 2K players that you can choose from. Corey Joseph. You know what I'm saying?
Corey Joseph,
I mean, the quintessential first guy that you get. You're like, I don't want this guy. I'm going to change and do this and that. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, but yeah, I think, the talk is going to be with regards to Quickley. They're going to say, for our Knicks team, who was more I don't want to say important, but who was more developed, who was more who put out more between him and Obi, and everyone's going to say Quickley right now. And people got to understand that it's just the luck of the draw. At the time, we probably would have been destroyed if we would have picked Quickley at 8. We would have gotten, destroyed. And we probably still would have gotten destroyed if with the way things, going and everything. But you had to pick Obi. I mean, we had to pick the best talent. Josh is always saying you got to pick the best talent. And at that point, we thought that was the best talent right there. And then Quickley just fell in our lap. So I think we just got to enjoy what we had. I mean, it's very rare. It's very rare that we get a gem, a hidden gem in the draft. I mean, at first we thought, we got Mitch, and then we thought we had Trier, but then Trier, another story. But we got Mitch. got RJ, but he was the number 3 pick, so it really didn't matter. But Quickley, fell for us. And again, I have to credit the management team and Leon Rose and the scouting and all of them, because past regimes probably would have passed on Quickley. And then we would have said, "Oh man, how come we passed on on this guy and everything?" I see a very bright future in Quickley, and I'm glad that he's a Knick.
Yeah. So that's gonna lead me to the next question. I was gonna tackle it a little bit later, but we might as well jump into it now since you brought it up. Are you worried at all about Obi? Be honest with me now. Be honest. Be honest.
Okay, Tone, I'm gonna go first on this one. Yes, because I say yes, but then hours later I could be like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna really worry about it. He'll figure it out." But he just seems lost sometimes when he's out there. Whereas when Quickley's out there, he pretty much knows what he's going to do. I'm not getting that out of Obi, and I don't know if it's because of the layoff that because he's only played. How many games has he played so far for us?
I think he's played 3 or 4 games.
It seems, yeah. As opposed to Quickley, who just needed, I guess I'm going to say, about a week, and then he was back out there. And so I don't know if it's a time thing, but he just doesn't seem comfortable. That's where he really doesn't seem comfortable. I mean, he doesn't seem like the player that I saw from the highlights that I saw when he was playing at Dayton. He just doesn't. And if it's trying to get acclimated with dealing with the players down low because they're a lot stronger and everything. That's one thing. He just doesn't seem comfortable at times. So that's pretty much it.
What about you, Tony?
I ain't worried at all.
Yeah.
I'm not worried at all. I look at a few different things. The number one thing I look at is almost the opposite of the Randle situation last year, where this guy's used to being the number one guy, the go-to guy. Everything ran through him. It's an adjustment off the jump. Like, I knew that it was going to be an adjustment for him. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a big change. And I think the closest thing to maybe helping him would be 2 things. Like I said last night, going to the G League and getting a 40-minute run, or whatever, however many minutes, but getting some reps. But that's unlikely with the COVID situation. Or running the offense through him in the second unit. I think that might help him. But it's early for him. He hasn't played many games. Quickly is a totally different situation in the sense that he's a guard. So more decisions are going to be put in his hands anyway.
Right.
So now Obi is pretty much relying on the offense being created for him. Now there are things that I am concerned about with Obi. His interior game as a whole worries me. And early on, I was worried that it seemed like he was really staying at the 3-point line. Like that was his role, like a shooter. And I wonder, like, I don't know if this is Tibbs directing him to be out there. I don't know if that's a reflection of his limited interior game. But overall, I'm not concerned because he has certain abilities. Running the floor, he's there. I think his handle running the floor, like going to the basket, is there. I worry a little bit with his back to the basket handle. It seems a little suspect. It hasn't been taken advantage of yet, but it looks shaky. But overall, I'm not too concerned with Obi, man. I think again, if we have the right guard that is looking for him, or if the offense is kind of ran through him, I think that would be his best advantage because utilizes his passing. I like that little mid range shot he took. I believe that was last night. I think we could see a lot more of that. So yeah, I'm not concerned.
I'm gonna be honest. I am a little concerned. I mean, I do agree that he has a world of talent, right? But when I watch him, like, okay, you mentioned that maybe the ball needs to flow through Obi a little bit more. When I see them try to get Obi the ball in the post, there's not much that he can do. He doesn't have good footwork. He doesn't have any moves down there. The basic thing that he tries to do is spin to the baseline. And so far in the NBA, it hasn't really worked. I think we've seen it in the preseason. One time where he spun baseline and he was successful. Beyond that, he's spinning to the baseline. They're forcing him out of bounds under the basket. And then he tries to either, still scoop it in from behind the basket or make a pass out. So he hasn't been successful there. The only time that I have seen him be successful is when somebody finds him cutting to the basket or, they do, some kind of screen and roll action and he gets something going to the basket. His three-point shot hasn't really hit. It may come around. I'm hoping that it's going to come around. But his three-point shot hasn't hit. He hasn't really shown anything in the mid-range. I think he did make a mid-range shot last night. Maybe with the shot clock running down, he was able to come off the dribble, pull up, and knock it down. But I haven't seen his game. Like, I haven't seen a lot of what he's able to do out there on the floor. And I know his minutes have been limited. But to me, that says something. Because you look at Burks, he came back, he jumped right in and played 30 minutes a game. You look at IQ, he came back, he jumped right in and started playing minutes. Austin Rivers came back, he jumped right in and started playing minutes. To me, that tells me Thibodeau's going to play the guys that he believes can be productive on the floor. And right now, he doesn't believe that Obi is, that productive on the floor. That's what it tells me. And so I'm a little bit worried because of I feel like his offensive game is kind of limited to point guard creation. And if we don't have a point guard that can create for him, I'm not exactly sure what else he's going to be able to do on the floor. He's been a better rebounder than I thought.
Yeah.
I will say that. He's been a better rebounder, but he hasn't, to me, shown the offensive versatility that I think he needs to be successful in the NBA. So I am a little bit worried about it.
Okay, so Sid, let me ask you this: Do you think that Quickley can do that for him? Can be that point guard for him? Do you think so?
I hope so. I hope so. That's one of the reasons why I think Tom Thibodeau is still having those two guys in that second unit together so that they could play a lot together. But, Obi hasn't been able to really find that footing so he can stay on the floor for extended minutes, where Quickley has found that footing so that he can stay on the floor for extended minutes. I think with Obi, one of the things I will say is I don't think that they're actually playing to his strengths. So that could be a big reason. When I see a game and they're going to him in the post, I'm like, why? Has not been successful in the post. I think maybe against Sacramento, he had a good post move, and I thought, okay, he's about to score. He got blocked, right? And I mean, it just is what it is, But I was waiting to see that. I need to see a game from Obi where, all of these things kind of, we see some of his post game. We see him run the floor. We see, some of that screen and roll action where, he gets a couple of dunks. I need to see a few of those. I need to see a game where we really see all of that together. And maybe Thibodeau is just not sure how to use them right now.
And I also see some tentativeness from him, which I think is hindering him a lot. If he's a little bit more aggressive, I think that'll open up a lot for him as well. Maybe he needs to hear some rumblings from the fans. Don't kill him too much, but
they will. They will. We're New York. We will.
But
that's the problem.
I also feel like he's been given ample opportunity as well. Like maybe more. The fact that I think Tibbs leaves him out there in some situations where he hasn't produced, or even still continues to keep him in the rotation. I don't think Tibbs has the guy to do that because he's the 8th pick. So Tibbs has to be seeing something at the very least in practice that that hasn't been translated as of yet.
Right.
So that's another reason why I'm not as worried, because Tibbs will sit you. So if you know what I mean, Tibbs will not play you. So the fact that he's still in that rotation, he's still getting the limited minutes that he's getting. I think he's gonna be all right. He just needs to. Maybe he just needs a breakout game, a breakout situation. But he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Prince, what do you think, man?
Getting in late, man. What we on Obi right now, or
we're talking about Obi. Are you worried about Obi?
Like I said, I'm that one I'm the skeptic one on the Obi pick. I was the one who didn't really think we needed Obi. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily needed Obi, but I didn't think he was the right pick. I know a lot of us was, best pick available, best player available, and I guess, like you said, the fact that they knew of Obi and they had some pedigree of him. But the thing that I worry about is just a log jam. It's like Tone Crow said, it's like, when will he truly have the time to really get out there and progress when you got Julius putting up 32 to 40-something minutes a game? Obi, like you said, not necessarily saying that we should worry about him. I just worry about the log jam. That's more the issue than his actual skill play and what he'll become. I just worry about, just that fact of us having two power forwards that can't play on the court together truly. One is undersized, the other one is just young and inexperienced. So it's just a situation like you guys were just talking about with Tom, where he's a very smart coach, but also when you kind of deal with this conundrum, it's like you got to deal with the elephant in the room, and that's the fact that you can't play both of them at the same time.
Well, here's the thing. And follow me on this. Draft night. Well, it's in the weeks leading up to the draft. I myself. Mm-hmm. I don't know how other Knicks fans were feeling, but I myself, I wanted Julius Randle off the team. After everything that I saw last year, I thought that I saw enough that I wanted him off the team, that he was going to be a bad fit. I had him off, and I had Alpha Payton off as well. So then draft comes, and I'm hearing all the talk of either Halliburton or Okoro or Obi, and I was fine with any of them. Once we went with Obi, my mindset was, okay, we're going to thrust him into the starting lineup, and we're going to find a way to trade Randle. And obviously, that was far from it, because the way, I know if management, I know not Knicks fans were not expecting what we see out of Randle. I know I was not. I'm telling you right now, I was not.
Well, I wasn't expecting the triple double threat, but again, Andy and I and Tony and I discussed it too, that we thought it was either going to be Randle and Tom Thibodeau was going to butt heads, or it was going to be the best year of Randle's career. I was leaning towards it being the best year of his career, but always thought that there was that chance that him and Tom Thibodeau could butt heads. Of course, I was never down on Randle as most Knicks fans were.
I was. I was. I was the I guess the creature, the fan of the moment, pretty much, and not really looking, because I had seen so many of his inconsistencies that he did last year, and not really. And that's on me. I did not give him, the chance. So with what he's doing now, it's like, why would you get rid of him? And then on the other side of that is, now we had this kid that was actually supposed to be in Randle's position, and he was probably thinking the same thing as well.
But I don't think just because he was drafted there that he automatically came in and thought, yeah, I'm going to be the starting power forward. I don't think Tom Thibodeau. No, I don't. I don't think Tom Thibodeau.
Because you take him off. If Randle was traded, I think Obi would have slid right into that starting lineup. I really do. Maybe.
But I just don't know that Obi came into the league thinking I'm automatically going to be that starting power forward. I didn't think that he was going to start at the beginning of the season over Randle. He just didn't have the tools. You know what I'm saying? Obi for the most part, Obi straight up needs a point guard to get him the ball. If you watched him in college, everything that he got in college was from somebody else creating an open shot for him. Every once in a while, he created a shot. He needed a point guard to really be able to get him the basketball, so that to really exacerbate his skill set. We haven't done that. We haven't done that to this point, and I think it's hurting Obi because we don't play the type of a system that is conducive to his game.
True.
We just don't play that type of a system, and so it does make me worry a bit that he ends up being just this pick and roll player that can run to the rim, grab some rebounds, maybe get the ball out and transition a little bit.
Then honestly, if that's your thinking, and I always, go by, how you think, because you're the coach and everything. You have that coaching experience.
I could be wrong though.
I understand, but 9 times out of 10 you're right. So
humble man.
But,
that's a humble man.
If that's your thinking, then I got to be honest. Then we made the wrong decision.
I mean, we'll see how he develops, man.
Then we've made the wrong decision.
We'll see.
So in order to unravel that way of thinking, then the coaching staff and Tibbs, 50% of that on the coaching staff and 50% of that on Obi, they've got to come to some middle ground where he can be successful.
Well, I mean,
okay,
the thing
Andy,
is,
I see Andy shaking his head. What do you say, Andy?
The thing is, he still has time to grow, but he is going to be 23 in a couple of months, and
exactly.
How much more footwork is he going to learn over the next 3 years?
Right.
How many more offensive moves is he going to add to his skill set over the next 3 years, till he hits like that 26 age. Randle's 26 years old, and you see where he is as a power forward in the league. He's 23 years old. How much more time is his body, going to be developing? Because that's the time, when your body is developing, that's the time that you're training your body with certain habits to play. There comes a time when your development now becomes up here and not physical. Right now, his development is still physical. How much progress can you make during that time span to when his body stops developing physically, and now it's all up here.
Right.
You know, that's the scary part. Tony, I'm gonna come to Tony, then I'm gonna come to Andy.
I just think he should play more minutes with RJ. Not saying RJ should go to the bench, but that's why I was understanding of Josh, because I think RJ is the guy that can create and open things up for Obi a little bit, and I've seen that in the brief minutes together.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Andy.
Yeah. What up, guys?
What's up,
You
man?
What's
guys
going
see me
on,
fine
man?
because I'm from the phone today, so trying to cook up some hot dogs for the kids. Yeah, but
right.
I'll take some mustard.
Yeah, double, right?
Double. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just as far as Obi goes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed, and I think every Knicks fan should be disappointed, because, like Sim said, he's gonna be 23. He's gonna be 23 really soon, and he didn't show us anything basically. For a number 8 pick, I think he should be way better better than what we saw from him. We saw like his couple of moves that he was doing in college. That spin move to the baseline, which in NBA won't work that often because defenders are gonna collapse on that, and they're gonna close just the line, so it's not gonna be possible. And also, it's not going to be possible because of his defense. It's atrocious, so he's not going to help us on that end of the floor. And what more did I want to say? Wait up, my little girl is trying to snatch the phone. and you know what? On the offense, and like Sim said, his shot isn't falling yet. He can't play, basically anything but cut, the offense. And for being a cutter, you need a great passer with you on the floor. And if you are thinking like that, then we should look at the rest of the rookies. Why are we're nagging on Frank because he can't score? Well, Obi can't score by himself as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Frank I think he's even younger than Obi. And we already, half of the fan base gave up on him.
Yep. Sure.
I don't know if you would pull up Frank's first game numbers from the NBA. I'm not sure that would be worse than Obi's.
Yeah.
So I understand that he's. I think the management picked him because they were thinking that this will be a safer pick because he will be able to produce for the Knicks basically right away. And he didn't show it, probably because of the injury. But I think, like I wrote in the chat, I don't know if you guys saw it, Knicks should trade all of their picks and just pick, 20s and lower, because fans don't have those expectations. And like with Quickley, right? I got like 1.5 quarter to go. I don't know the result of the game, but, I saw Quickley scored, I heard 30 couple, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 31.
So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, but in the first half, bro, if I were the coach, I would be on him in the locker room because they were doing everything on defense with him. Everything. He was the biggest liability on the court. In the first half.
You're saying Quickley? Quickly?
Yeah, Quickley.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention Nerlens Noel because on offense, that dude was like a sabotage, man. He can't get any lines. So when I saw those layups, butterfingers, and I'm like, no, we are not going to win this game.
See, you felt like
in the
me.
second quarter.
You felt like me.
I'm like, no, this is not going to happen. So, but, see, fans are really praising Quickley. I'm still hesitant with that. I know he can score. But for me, he's still a huge work in progress. I don't like most of his shots that he's taking. As far as they're dropping, fans going to be cool with it. But, you don't
like the threes he's taking?
No, the shot selection?
Yeah, the shot selection from three. You don't like that?
Shots are really bad shots.
Okay.
Of what he's taking. he's making more than that I was expecting, right? So I can't say loud, but the shot selection isn't good. Even the floater that fans really praise. Yeah. Sim, if we're gonna
not just the fans, I mean it's the media that likes it too.
But if we're gonna have a coach's corner, bro, I'm gonna be talking 10 minutes about that floater, how bad it is. Because it's not a consistent floater. That's a push shot that can be so easily. I bet in 5 games he's not going to be doing the floaters. Because, I don't know if the teams have scouting reports on that. If you would watch, like just type in YouTube, like Mark Jackson floater, and look at that form and everything, and Immanuel Quickley's floater, those are 2 different things. Way different things, and that's not an NBA floater. And I bet you that he's not going to be hitting those floaters in a couple of games, because
I'll give it 5, like you said. I'll see in 5 games.
It's a line drive.
About it, if it's working for you, you can't go away from it, right? If it's working for you.
Well, what are his numbers shooting that floater? That's what I want. I don't know what percentages he makes shooting that floater.
It might be around 50%. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a really bad shot, because Mark Jackson, when he did the floater, he wasn't like falling ahead with it that much. Quickley is like he can't stop and go up. He just even with the shot, he's so fast, but he doesn't have those breaks, and that's gonna hurt him. And if he's not gonna get those breaks on him, so. I'm looking at him, and like I told you, Sam, if we're going to be doing a coach's corner, I got plenty of the,
But his production compared to Obi's is like night and day. You got to admit that.
That's why I say that with Obi, Obi's a disappointment, and if you don't think so, you must have already gave up on him, because it's like.
Well, I haven't given up on him. I'm just worried.
That's why I'm saying that you got to be worried, because if you're not worried, like Tony said, then, and Tony said like, okay, I'm not worried because he's going to go, maybe. And that's like a 5% maybe. It's not like, okay, 50-50. He's going to probably pan out. We got to be really scared about this. I understand that he didn't play that many games, but still, he didn't show us anything, because everybody can cut to the basket and get a great pass and just dunk it, right? You don't have to be a top 8 pick. You can be a free agent, whatever guy. And it's not like he's cutting in every possession. It's a lucky cut, basically looks. Right. It looks like a lucky cut. Yeah. He's like standing there and he's like, let me go to the basket.
He's a rookie, and he has a huge role adjustment. Like, you have to take that into effect.
Like, but he's
well, see, Tone, that's what I was going to speak to what Sim was talking about earlier, and Cornerstone was talking about, is the fact that Sim said he didn't, which Obi isn't a me guy, but I did get some sentiments from him that he thought I'm not going to say he thought, but someone alluded to the fact that he would be getting significant minutes and have a significant role. Like, I'm almost like I can't see those guys going into that pitch and them not telling Obi that New York is his. Like, I don't believe they changed that narrative, Sim. I'm just being honest, and I know you.
I totally agree with you, Prince.
But again, even that still doesn't have anything to do with his actual play. But I do believe somewhere along, he didn't really feel like he would have to play behind Julius. I think he thought that either Julius would have phased out or been traded by now, and then he would have just been able to run reckless abandonment and then just make all of the mess ups as he goes, mistakes as he goes, and
like Kevin Knox in his rookie year, like Kevin Knox in his rookie year.
Where again,
whatever, pretty much.
You think he was told that?
I don't think he was told that. I don't think he was told that.
No. I think there was some sentiment. Yeah.
But yes, I believe that people kind of set him up for failure. The Nick way. like media.
Man,
you know
I don't
how.
know.
That was the fans because the fans was talking about Julius Randle's out of here. That's what that's about.
Exactly.
If he was listening, maybe, but I don't think he listens to any of that.
Well, no, listen. Where I'm picking this up from is again, if we can rewind, and Sim can pull up like his draft interview, the first interview at training camp. Like, he believed that he will get significant minutes, and a lot of us believe that he would get.
I thought so too.
Minutes.
I thought he would be starting.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
That's not the problem, Prince.
And remember, we need to go one at a time.
Yes.
Right. So we ain't talking over.
If Obi and the Knicks really thought that Randle was going to be gone, then why would Tom Thibodeau call Julius Randle as soon as he was hired and tell him, I want to use you at point forward? This is what he called and told Julius Randle, told his trainer, and that is the reason why they went into such a heavy workout during the offseason, because Tom Thibodeau made that call and said, this is how I'm going to use you. So if Tom Thibodeau was calling Julius Randle to say, this is how I'm going to use you, why would they then go tell Obi, yeah, he's going to be gone, this is going to be your spot? I don't think they did that. I think they drafted him saying, we like your talent. We like the fanfare that you can bring. Leon Rose was, given the fact that he was not able to go out and scout certain players, right, because of the pandemic. He was already comfortable with Obi's family, with Obi's character, and the things that Obi can do because of the CAA connection. He said, we're going to go with this guy right here if we can get him. I don't think it was a foregone conclusion that Julius Randle was going to be gone. And even still, if Obi is doing the things to keep him on the court, he's going to play. Just like Quickley. He's doing things to keep himself on the court, he's going to play. If Obi is doing things to stay on the court, he's going to play.
Yeah, but
Okay,
Tim,
so go ahead, Andy. Go ahead, Andy.
I don't think we have a problem with Obi because he was promised a bigger role or whatever, and he dislikes the situation. I don't think that's the case. I think that the case is that he basically doesn't show us anything that we were promised to see. As the A pick, he was supposed to be one of the best players in this draft. We didn't even think that he might fall to 8.
Day one.
Yep.
Exactly. And, he was I think by far one of the oldest prospects, right? So that's why I think
he was the oldest. I want to say he was the oldest, Andy.
Yeah. And I just find it funny. I find it funny, I am the last. Hold on 1 second, Kev. I'm the last person. I see someone say, "Oh, dudes expect superstars." In such and such minutes this now. I am the last person that expects that the Knicks are going to have a team full of superstars. I am the very last person that expects that. I don't expect that at all. But Obi was supposed to be the most ready player coming out of college. That's what everybody was told. He is the most ready to come in and produce right away. Now we want to say, I even said, because I was on board, I wanted Tyrese Halliburton, but I said if Obi drops, I want Obi Toppin. If he drops to 8, I'm taking Obi, no doubt about it. He should be NBA ready. I thought he was going to be able to come in and give us about 15 points, 5 rebounds a game, somewhere around there, 10 to 15 points, 5 rebounds a game. He was supposed to be the most NBA ready product. I don't want to call him a product, but the most NBA ready player. That's what we were told, because he had the NBA body already, right? He's 22 years old, gonna be 23 in March. Supposed to be NBA ready to come in and produce right now. And that's what everyone said when we got him. He's someone who can come in and produce right now. And really, it's not the 5 points that bothers me. It's the things that I don't see from him out there on the floor. I don't see that he can create a shot. I don't see that he can, his footwork is still shoddy. Of course, it should be. Right? His footwork is one thing that I've harped on ever since the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see those things, and it bothers me. It worries me because he is 23 years old.
Right. And
All I
Sim,
see right now is an athlete.
Yeah. And Sim, how many times have we heard from fans saying that we don't want any more projects? We want somebody that's that's ready-made, a ready-made draft.
And I'm not screaming get rid of. I'm not screaming get rid of Obi, but all of the sentiment.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Said, that's why I love OG for that. Like I said, when he's right, when he's wrong, but when he gonna call a spade, and what he's saying is just right. Like he just said, he fell on the altar and just said the exact truth. Same difference. Hey, he wanted Obi. He thought what we were told as Knicks fans, as sports fans, as people who watch the game, Obi was going to come in day one and play and can play. Not like on some Kevin Knox, not on Frank Ntilikina. This was a guy who was going to come in and contribute. And we are not seeing that skill set from Obi. That's just the truth. It's just the truth.
We also are not
bagging him, none of that.
I agree with that too, Tony. I agree with that as well.
But you're acting like he's a bust.
I'm not saying he's a bust.
No.
I'm not saying he's a bust, but there's a reason why we're not seeing it, though. There has to be a reason why we're not seeing it.
Yeah.
I agree. I think part of that is injury, because I feel like we've seen a lot of him. Like me personally, I just think his shot hasn't fallen. And it's a lot of things that I think he needs a lot of work on. But you have even said it, Sim. He's not even being used to his advantage.
He's not. He's not
to take advantage of his best skill set. So that you know what I mean.
But that's also where I get scared, because to use his best skill sets, you need a point guard.
Agreed.
To use his best skill set.
Agreed.
That's where and that is where, when you talk about a guy that everyone thought was going to be your franchise power forward, that scares me too, because you need a guard to make him productive.
Amari didn't need a guard. Amari didn't need Steve Nash. I mean, Steve Nash made him better, but Amari didn't need Steve Nash, and that was the difference in their game and their skill sets at this point. You know what I'm saying? And again, Amari had post moves that we seen. I was going to ask you, Tone, not to go back and forth with you, bro, but just as devil's advocate, what is one thing that you can, like you said, alluded to, that we've seen enough of Obi? What's one thing that Obi truly does that stands out basketball? Not athleticism, like Sim said. What's one thing basketball-wise that Obi does that is not, I wouldn't even say elite, but is good at this point of time? You know what I'm saying? Like in his game that you see, Tone, that you can hang your hat on and be like, you know what? I can hang my hat on that, because, again, I know Obi's going to give me that every, you know what I'm saying? He can do that every night.
Obi Toppin has not been good. That, like, point blank period. He hasn't been good. But I also haven't seen enough of him to make a fair assessment. And in my assessment, I'm taking into account the fact that he's in a totally different role from his college time to his NBA time, and that's going to be an adjustment. If Julius Randle wasn't here and that wasn't the case, and Obi was starting from jump and playing 30 minutes a game and playing through mistakes, that would have been a time for me to fairly assess him. But he's on a team now where his role is far from what his role was before. And he has to adjust to that role and thrive in it. That's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do for a veteran.
Yeah, to go from being the man in college and having, like, I think, Sim, you
but
probably said
don't most
before,
players go from being the man in college to not being the man on the NBA team? Most players do, right?
Most don't. It really depends, because most lottery picks go to a bad team, which we are, but they go into a position of, you're the starter, a more defined role. We're not a great team or a good team, but we're not on development time. We're on winning time.
I mean, I get it, but I think, like, your top 5 picks probably go to teams where they're going to definitely be the starter and maybe even be the guy. right? But once you get below that, you know, it's questionable whether or not they're going to be the guy or if they're going to be a guy that comes off the, you know, well, it don't even matter coming off the bench. LaMelo Ball comes off the bench. You know,
But see,
I think it's questionable. I don't think all players come in and they're just automatically the man. I only think it's only a few. I mean, you look at your guys that came into the league right now. How many of them are the bona fide guy on their teams that came into the league this year?
This year was an anomaly though. Like you had it wasn't based off your record.
Yeah, and I gotta take that into consideration.
I mean, but what I'm saying is those guys are still producing and getting their minutes on their teams. James
Ball.
Wiseman, he's getting minutes. LaMelo Ball is getting minutes. Killian Hayes, they're getting minutes. Like
Anthony
if they're
Edwards.
not, you know, and they were all the man.
The number one pick, Tim. The number one pick is sitting on the bench behind Beasley in Minnesota, and he's still averaging 14 points and like 2 rebounds and assists a game. Like the number one player.
What's his role coming off the bench?
To get out there and do the same thing Kobe do.
He get the key.
Play.
He get the key.
He don't have no defined role. He not like.
I mean,
what do you say, Divine? What do you say, Divine?
Obi is not the focal point. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think if he needs a point guard, or I think pick and roll with RJ and him would work out pretty well. There's things that we could do to develop him.
I agree.
But and if I'll say he's been disappointing, but I also think he needs more time. I think
we also have to realize
was available. I think that would bring a lot out from him.
Okay.
And we also got to realize, also, guys, that we didn't have a summer camp, we didn't have a summer league, and we had an abbreviated training camp.
Well, Kev, I take that back. I'm gonna stop you on that. Not so fast, my friend. Like Lee Corso say. Remember, Obi was in New York working with C. Brinkley and the New York crew all through the pre-draft work.
But he wasn't in an NBA, quote unquote NBA setting.
Yeah, but
tell me one rookie that was
in a gym with NBA trainers.
Nobody was. But I'm just saying.
Tell me one rookie that was.
But what I'm saying is that we have to look at those optics as well. That's what I'm saying.
The optics are the same. That's the thing. It's the same playing field, Kev. We can't change the playing field just because Obi is ours. The same thing Obi told us. He had been in the gym. I'm sorry, Kev. I don't want to start yelling and stuff, but let me get it out. He said he had been in the gym. Him, C. Brinkley, Miles, and Knox had been in the gym for 3 months before draft, working out with their personal trainer. Then he got drafted by the Knicks and started to work on the Knicks program. So again, Obi had ample time to be where he should be. And I hear what Tom was saying about him being hurt. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's going to take away from his time and his minutes. But like what we saying, at the end of the day, Julius don't look like Julius is going to slow down anytime soon. So with all of that being said, Obi needs a point guard and he needs time and he needs reps.
Okay,
how does Obi get those 3 things with this team? It was just at the end of the day, like we just said, it was just a bad pick. We were caught in the situation, but honestly, I just believe it was a bad pick.
I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at it from another perspective. He did not play his first NBA game until the preseason. A lot of these rookies, a lot of these second-year players, they have a summer league to get used to the NBA, to get used to the NBA game. Forget the second-year players. I'm talking about like
what other rookie?
I understand that. I mean, some rookies are able to adapt more than other rookies.
No, I get that. I mean, to me, I'm just saying. To me, that's not an excuse when everybody has a level playing field.
I'm not going to call him a bust. I'm not going to call it a wasted pick yet. All right, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I'm definitely
Okay,
not calling him a wasted pick. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm just saying that I'm a little bit worried from what I see.
But the Prince is saying that it was a wasted pick.
Well, I said it was a wasted pick in the beginning when we picked him, Kev. I was a proponent of a way that we could have traded back and still ended up with more assets. Because again, I think what we see now, and like Josh and a lot of people has alluded to, and I didn't want to be honest with it, is that again, our roster pound for pound is trash. We have a pretty some small, minute players who can play, decent, have decent skill sets, and they're looked at as decent skill sets in their game. But as players, they're trash. Like Bullock, trash. Let's be honest.
I mean, I don't know if we got just trash guys. I mean, we got some. I mean, we don't have the best roster in the league, obviously, but.
Would you rather have Reggie Bullock coming off your bench or a Jordan Clarkson or somebody like that? Somebody who would give you more. That's all I'm saying. I mean, wrong wordage of calling him trash. Sorry, Reggie Bullock is not trash. But I'm just saying, pound for pound, when you're talking about skill sets and just having just pure talent, we don't have talent. And I believe we could have picked up talent like most people do by drafting more than 2 rookies. We could have picked up another guard. We could have picked up and drafted back. That's what I'm saying. If Obi, and the chance is Obi could have even fell to us at 10 or 12 if we would have fell back to pick up those picks from Boston.
I think the idea in drafting Obi was that you were adding talent because he is talented. We just got to find a way to unlock that talent. You know what I'm saying? I think a big part of that is a point guard. I'm not calling him a bust. So if anyone out there saying that, I'm trying to get on Obi or this or that, I'm not trying to get on Obi. No, I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there that I'm a little bit worried. And I have the right to be worried. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 Obi Toppin rookie cards sitting over here because I believe in the kid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Devon,
I was
what do you say?
For Obi. When he dropped to 8, I was like, we need to go get Obi. I was for it. I'm still worried. I'm worried about what I see. That's it. I'm worried about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? I'm concerned about it. I'm just not seeing some of the things that I thought I was going to be able to see, especially after the first preseason game. I seen the first preseason game.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, he's going to get more than I thought.
Exactly.
Now it's not. And some people are saying, well, we haven't seen him on the court. You're right. There's a reason we haven't seen him on the court. Right? Mm-hmm. Tom Thibodeau puts out there the players that he knows is going to get him wins. Or he feels is going to get him wins. Let me say that he feels. He puts out players that he's more confident about, the most confident about. So if a player isn't playing, to me, that means that Tom Thibodeau doesn't believe that guy can produce right now. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about it. And that's one of the reasons why I say that I'm concerned, because Tom Thibodeau normally puts the players on the floor that he thinks is going to produce right now, regardless of who else is out there. Go ahead, Tony. Then I'm going to move on to this other question.
But based off that is why I'm not concerned, because he's in that rotation and he's still getting those minutes. So Thibodeau has to be seeing something, like I said earlier. At the very least, he has to be seeing something in practice that is allowing him to keep him on the floor, to keep him in the rotation, to keep his minutes relatively the same. Actually, they have decreased since coming back. It's more of a to relieve Randle and give him a rest. But again, he's still in that rotation. We haven't seen Taj yet. You know what I mean? We haven't really seen Knox get the extended minutes. If Knox is producing, maybe we see a little less of Obi. Maybe something like that happens. So I agree. He's been a little underwhelming. I think we've seen spurts of what he could do. It's really about maybe focusing in on finding ways to use his abilities. It's very similar to Mitch early, like the things that people were saying about Mitch early, like he could only do this, he could only do that. I just think he needs a breakout performance, and then
He does.
Settle into a role.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. He needs one of those performances. He needs something. He needs a performance for his confidence, I think, and as well as the coaches and the fans. I think with Mitch is a little bit different. I mean, some of the things that I'm saying is probably the same thing. The reason why I say it's a little bit different is Mitch is still younger than OB. Mitch came in as a project because we got him in the second round. So we knew with Mitch there was going to be some time that, we had to try to groom him and develop him and this and that because he, had no coaching at all, didn't even play in college. So I think, there's a little bit of a difference there. But we'll see. Listen, I'm supporting the kid no matter what. You already know that. I support OB. I'm just expressing my feelings, man, that I'm starting to get a little bit worried. I want to ask this. Last night we played the Portland Trailblazers. We all know that. I didn't need to announce that. But they came off of a week-long layoff, right, because of games being postponed. They hadn't played since, what was that, January the 11th. January the 11th, right? The Knicks, of course, were in the midst of playing 4 games in 6 nights, 3 games in 4 nights, and all of that. They basically had an entire training camp before they sat down to play the Knicks.
Man.
You know what I mean? You look at the Washington Wizards, they played last night. They lost to the Spurs last night, but they hadn't played since January the 11th. And I guess Washington's game can quell anything that I bring up here, right? But do you think that because of these postponements, it's providing an unfair advantage for some teams? Like the Wizards, they lost to the Spurs last night anyway. They had 2 weeks off and they lost anyway, right? But the Spurs are terrible. I mean, the Wizards are terrible. They're a mess of a team right now, with having, everything with Westbrook and all of this. They're a mess. The Wizards are. But you look at Portland, they had an entire week to cue in because they knew that those games were going to be postponed, and they knew that the next team that they were going to play was the Knicks. They had an entire week to cue in and focus on the Knicks, right? You could see they had some bounce in their step. They were ready to come out and play because they hadn't played for a week. Do you think, Divine, I'm going to start with you. And there's nothing anyone can do about it, but do you think sometimes this is providing an unfair advantage for teams?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. Yeah, man, because rest, like when you're getting rest, when you're getting rest, that's like all of us, man. We have a long night, we get up in the morning feeling good because we had an extra day off. It makes a difference, man. I mean, it makes a difference in your the way you go about your day. It makes a difference in your mental and physical makeup, man. Because sometimes if you're tired, you're not going to produce. If you're not tired, you're going to have more energy to produce. And it makes a big difference. That's in life in general. I mean, sometimes we go to our 9 to 5, man. We had a sluggish week, man. We like this, man. We look. But then, you come to the weekend, you got the weekend off, you to be energized yourself, and now you come out the next week, you bringing it. Now, and I just think that's what it is. I think they caught us on a long stretch of tough games, and they had a long time off. And I just think that that's just a part of life, man. If, you got energy, you produce better. You don't got energy, you're going to be sluggish, and you're not going to produce better. So if you're going to get somebody and they got rest and you don't have rest, they're going to outperform you because they got more energy than you do to do the things that they do better, and you ain't going to do things you do better because you ain't got the energy to do it. So I think it plays a major part in what happens when you're going against competition. If you slow and he fast, he's going to outrun you. If you big and he's strong, you strong and he weak, he's going to outpower you. And I just think that's the way life is. That's just reality to me. So I just think that it does make a major difference in your energy and when you're playing against competition anyway. And I think Portland that week off, they like, man, we coming out like spring chickens, and we was like old roosters, I guess. I don't know, you know what I mean? So I think it make a difference in on how you operate, because I just think that's life and the law of physics in general, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, Tony, the NBA is going to try to do anything about it, or they're just going to let it rock the way that it is?
I think you let it rock. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like an unfair advantage because you never know which. I put it on the teams more than like the advantage here, advantage there. Because, for instance, Portland, yeah, they came out firing, blazing, hitting everything, but they cooled down. They cooled down tremendously. Like they shot bad in the second half. Like they came back to reality. So and that could have been part of them being in the layoffs. You know what I mean? Or having that week off. You know, the adrenaline of finally getting started, you know, having a week off. All right, we got this game. They're excited. They took advantage early, but once that wears off, you know what I mean? It's back to reality. One of the things that I come to the conclusion that the defense wasn't really that bad last night. These guys were just making those shots early, hitting contested shots, especially Dame. I don't think he had anything easy. He just made it look easy. And then I don't think the NBA changes anything because, you know, there's, first of all, the advantage is not like set up in advance. You know what I mean? It's because of circumstance.
Right.
So, you know, how do you take away someone's alleged advantage? You're probably putting someone else at a disadvantage by doing, you know, by making changes here and there. There's no way to make it even for everybody at any particular time. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be unfortunate for some teams, and it's going to happen to, you know, other teams around the league. You know, that some of these guys, because that practice, let me tell you, that practice is especially coming off of so many injuries, right? CJ McCollum out, Nurkic out. And now if you have those games, it's like, damn, how am I gonna get these guys in so that we know exactly what we're doing? Oh, these 2 games postponed. We got a whole week to fit these guys in. That definitely played into Portland's advantage. Even when we played, and I'm not saying these are the reasons why we lost, right? I think a topic of conversation that will be coming up, you know, around the league. You know, so we're talking about it because the same thing kind of happened when we played Sacramento. Sacramento hadn't played for a few days. When we played Sacramento, we were on the 4th game in 6 nights. They were on their 2nd game in 6 nights because of postponements due to COVID. You know what I mean? And that happens to it happens every year to every single team. You know, where one team is coming off of a back-to-back or 3 games in 4 nights and another team hasn't played in a week or something like that. So it happens every year. But clearly this season, you know, it's going to be happening more often because there's so many postponements due to COVID-19. But, I mean, yes, there's not much we can do about it. Andy, then I'm going to come to Tony.
Yeah. Why? Because you said there's nothing we can do about it. Why not just make the teams forfeit the games?
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, that's something that I thought about a week ago. You know what I mean?
And then when you think, you know, they shouldn't do it, right? Then just make, for example, they got 5 COVID situations. Let them sign 5 guys to 10-day contracts. Let them play with G League players. Screw them. And because, you know, this is just the beginning of the problem. Look at Memphis. They had like 4 games postponed. When are they going to play those games? Mid-season or at the end of the season?
Right.
And their season going to be like 2 weeks longer than everyone else before the playoffs. And then every playoff team is going to have to wait for the Memphis Grizzlies to play those games. And they're going to have a 2-week layoff because the Memphis Grizzlies had, you know, COVID situation, right? That's why, for me, this postponing games, you can postpone them. For example, okay, we can't play Wednesday, so we're going to play Thursday. And if you can fit that into the schedule, that's like a 1-day slide, okay? But you can't postpone them just to the end of the season, to the mid, whatever, right? And just look for other situation. Because like you said, we got hit with Sacramento, with Portland when they were laid off. And why we should have a disadvantage like that? we and just, I don't know, if you want, you can penalize the players because they didn't know. Of course, if they're going to have situations of tracing contact because someone hugged with Jason Tatum and he was COVID situation, you're not going to penalize the player, right? Just let the team sign a guy to a 10-day contract and let him play the game. That's going to be a disadvantage. I'm telling you guys, after the first half of the schedule, we're going to or it's going to be a break for all the teams and just make up games then, or at the end of the season. And that's going to be some BS thing if it's going to be at the end of the season, because like I said, some teams are going to have 2 weeks longer of a schedule just to play those games. And some are going to have playoff implications of those games.
Yeah.
And for example, I'm not saying that it's going to be the Knicks, but maybe someone's going to be like, okay, we finished the 72-game schedule and we're like 3 games up, right? Or 2 games up. And that team is going to be, okay, we got to stretch now. We got to win this game. We can pass up on this game and just, maneuver around the draft situation and stuff. So that's not going to be quite fair, if you ask me.
Yeah, I get it. And that was something that I thought about a while ago. Maybe last week we talked about it. Those teams, if you can't play, you take the L. I can guarantee you, if those teams start taking an L because they can't play, something changes as far as what those guys do. Will there'll be players who still get COVID or whatever? Yeah, probably. But I think it would be less. Guys wouldn't take as many chances to go out, because sometimes guys don't really have it. It's just they were someplace.
Yeah.
And now they got to go through testing or they got to be quarantined because they went someplace or they were around someone who had it or something like that. Let me get to a caller. Caller, you live.
What's going on, Sam? What's going on, panel?
How you feeling, man?
I'm good. How you boys feeling after last night's comeback? And that was a hell of a loss, though.
Yeah, I think we're feeling better. I think we're feeling better. You know what I mean? We were down 25. We came back. I think we're feeling better about it from last night.
Yeah. I'm only calling in to talk about the Obi question because I'm hearing a lot of different discrepancies in regards to Obi.
All right.
I look at Obi even if the first preseason game when he came out, he had a decent game. He had a couple of threes. Obi, he's showing you that he's raw. He's not showing you that he's skilled. He's not showing you that he's somebody that you can lean on as the face of a franchise. Even after the first game, that's what I looked at. You coach. You've been around basketball a very long time. You know what a skilled player, a real good player looks like when you first look at him.
Right.
Obi, I looked at as in regards to the Knicks. He was the best player on the board. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to ever say that the Knicks blew the pick. I'm looking at it as what they have to do is they really have to bring Obi and Quickley together. They have to allow those two to do a lot of pick and roll training, because Quickley, he's quick. He could get to the hole and he can shoot the jump shot. Mm-hmm. Obi's quick. He can shoot the jump shot. He can finish at the rim. So they easily going to mesh together perfectly if they get the proper training together. Obi's trying to figure out his way on the court right now when it comes to Julius Randle, when it comes to he's out there with Knox. He's trying to figure out where he's going to pick his spots, and they're not running no pick and rolls with him and Quickley. They're not allowing him to get what he knows he can do. That he's having to figure out how he can spot up in the corners, hit open jump shots. They're not giving him fast break points. He has to figure it out while he's out there. And I'm nowhere near worried about Obi right now. Look at the history of the 8th picks through history. There's not one franchise player that's ever been picked 8. It may be 3 players that were good pieces if you look through the history. So I'm really never looking at Obi like he was going to replace Randle and be better. Obi's talent is nowhere near Randle's talent. Coming out the draft, Obi's talent was nowhere near ever Randle's talent. Randle ran into Fizdale. Fizdale threw him off and had him doing some things, and he was playing on a team where it just didn't work last year. But I never thought Randle was a bum. I always knew Randle was nice, and he's still nice. Look at his trajectory. from day one to now. He's always shown he's nice, always shown it. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, Obi, you're going to have to give him some time. You're definitely going to have to let him and Quickley work together in practice, get them pick and rolls going. I heard somebody say, let him and RJ get them pick and rolls going. That's when you'll start to see, okay, Obi got 12 last night, got 4 rebounds. Okay, Obi got 10 last night. Once they start doing that with Obi in that second unit, I promise you, everybody going to be like, okay, Obi's not as bad as we thought. But Obi's not going to put the ball on the floor. He ain't going to cross nobody over. He ain't getting to the hole. He needs a point guard that's going to allow him to move without the ball and use his height, use his athleticism, and that's what he needs. So the Knicks got a good pick. Now they're just going to have to figure out a way to make him great. And he, like I said, he ain't never going to be better than Randle. Sam, you coached. You know from the door. Randle's skill set is way better than Obi's skill set. So
yeah.
That's all I wanted to call in and say.
Yeah, I appreciate your call, man. Definitely. Randle's skill set is higher than Obi's. But the thing is, and I guess it's from the fan standpoint, not really the organization standpoint, that fans really thought that Obi was here, to be that starting power forward and replace him. And you expect a guy coming in at 22 years old to probably have a higher level of a skill set. Which we all knew his history. It's the reason why he was a sophomore and 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? We all knew his history about, he went to prep school and then he was a redshirt rookie, and that's the reason why he was a sophomore at 22 years old. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Yo, what's going on? Simmons AK, what's good?
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm all right, and yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yo, I'm gonna hit you with a quick 3 questions real quick. Not even questions.
All right.
But on top of the topics you were speaking upon. First thing about Quickley, I'm not starting him yet. I got to give him time.
I'm with you.
Second thing about Obi, I got to give him 20 more games. You got to give me more Obi. I can't see it off of 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And next question, this is a little wrenching the tire.
Uh-oh.
Think about Cal. Yeah, you already know. Next season, I know we got the money. Well, I know we got this and that. What you think about bringing back? Not even bringing back. What you think about Kyle Lowry and DeRozan? I'm not a DeRozan fan, but what you think about bringing in?
I'm a big Kyle Lowry fan. That's I'm a big Kyle Lowry. I think he would fit with this team perfectly. I'm not really a DeRozan fan.
Me neither.
I'm not big on DeMar DeRozan, but Kyle Lowry, I would love to have Kyle Lowry with this group, man.
Definitely.
I would love to have him with this group. And yeah, I think he could do a lot with this group.
Yep.
I think that'd be a perfect fit at point guard, I think.
At point guard.
And someone who's a veteran, who knows his way around the league, knows his way around the game. He's 34 years old. He'll be 35. Maybe if he decided and he was cool with coming to the Knicks, spend his last 2 years in New York, maybe a little closer to Philly.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And really help set this, take this organization forward. Yeah, no doubt about it. I would love to get Kyle Lowry next summer.
Yeah, me too.
Like me, that's my free agent target next summer for real.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my target.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
And maybe man. What you think about Afro?
Who?
Dude on Cleveland. He got traded from the Nets.
Oh, Jared Allen?
Yeah, what you think about him? Because I know he may be a free agent.
Is he a free agent?
Though, but
yeah, his rookie deal will be up. I think his rookie deal will be up.
His rookie deal is up?
Yeah, his rookie deal will be up.
Yeah,
we only got Noel for 1 year. So what you think?
Mitch.
I think Cleveland, they going to sign him, because they got Jared Allen because they're not going to re-sign Andre Drummond, I think.
Drummond, yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking there. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm really interested in Andre Drummond, you know what I'm saying? And the money that he's going to want to pay, the money that he's going to want. So. Hey, I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yo, peace of chat. Yo, Sim, keep doing what you're doing, bro.
No doubt. Appreciate you, brother. Peace. Tony, I see you was getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that had we won the game, the talk the narrative could have been, they were at a disadvantage from having that week off and us being on the winning streak. True. So, it goes both ways, and that's why I think it really, like, advantage, disadvantage, it's based off the team and the production, what you do. We win the game, they had the disadvantage, we lose the game, they focused in on us. So, it could always go both ways.
That's true. Now, Andy did bring up a good point, and I don't know if Andy is able to hear what we're saying right now, because I know he's handling some other stuff. About the whole thing with COVID, and he brought up in the chat, and you guys probably seen it. He said, "What if we have situations about contract tracing where they're made up just for the purposes of having a player heal, right?" So a team says, "Yeah, we got this contract tracing issue, so we've got to these certain number of players have got to quarantine so that they can have other players heal." I don't know if they have protocols in place to make sure that that's not happening. But, these NBA teams, they find ways to get around these rules. You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Devon? Do you think is a possibility of that or no?
Of the contract tracing?
Of teams using contract tracing as a way to get a game postponed so that they can have their players heal.
Oh, wow, man. That'd be hard for me to speculate. I wouldn't put it past it. Adam Silver running real good. He probably won one of the best ships in pro sport, period. The NBA is creme de la creme when it comes to situation like that. So I think it's possible, but I think we also got to realize, like, you know what? I think that as time goes further, we would get better at it because we learn it more. Like what the Miami Heat talking about having sniffing dogs.
Yeah, I seen that.
So I think they get a little bit more not aware of the situation, more knowledgeable. And even with the games, postponement game, that's why they call them postponed. They're not canceled because that TV revenue plays a major part without no fans. So we just can't throw away games. And I don't think they would put the teams at the end of the year to make up their game. What's going to happen, I think, in between, like hypothetically, Portland, they had a long week off. I think maybe some postponed games might get filled in certain gaps, as long as they don't get too outspread. But the contract tracing thing, I can see the NBA trying it. But I think as time goes on, Sim, I think like if they're going to get more adapt to what's going on, they're going to get a handle on it. Now you got the vaccines rolling out. They're going to put in they put in a certain type of protocol now where you can't talk to the player after the game. I just think it really is a process of elimination of things that's not working and bringing things that will work. So I can see what you're saying. I can see them doing it. I think Adam Silver, he trying to keep it. He keep the integrity of the NBA. One thing I say about the NBA, he keep that integrity in that thing, man. He runs that. Adam Silver is legit when it comes to running the organization as a president or whatever. So I think we'll get better at it, man. Once they get a handle on it, of the situation. So I think we'll be fine. But I think that could work though.
Yeah. I agree. This is all new. So there's a lot of things that they got to look at and say, how do we handle this situation, that situation, and so on.
It's unprecedented times.
Unprecedented times for sure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, different states got different. Some states got it real bad, some don't. It's kind of hard to like Memphis. They COVID probably went rapid in Memphis compared to it running rapid in New York now, where there's not a lot of, So it's kind of a state by state thing, I guess. How they got to do that stuff.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to take a look at, if I can find it on my list of stuff up here. I thought I had it. Maybe I don't. Oh, here we go. I want to take a look at the Knicks' upcoming schedule this week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we start off the week by playing Utah. We finish off this 4-game road trip playing Utah tomorrow night. That's a game that I was already concerned about. Regardless of what happened last night, if we would have won that game, I would still been concerned about this game. Utah right now, I think they're on a 7-game win streak. Let me check that out just to be sure.
Their last loss was against us. That was
We needed that
loss.
one. We needed that one, Chop. We needed that. We needed that one. They're
was
on an
their
8-game win
last
streak, ladies and
loss.
gentlemen. The Utah Jazz are on an 8-game win streak. Donovan Mitchell is playing basketball. Right now, they're tied. They are third in the Western Conference. All right, they're 12-4. The Lakers are 13-4. The Clippers are 13-4. So the Utah Jazz are half game behind the Lakers and the Clippers. And I'm concerned about this game. I'm not going to lie. I'm concerned about this game. It's a revenge game for the Utah Jazz, right? And Donovan Mitchell's playing hot. They're on a win streak. They're playing well.
Can I
I'm concerned
pray
about
for
this
a
game.
Frank? Can I pray for a Frank sighting tomorrow?
I mean, you know, we'll
Can
see. I don't
pray
know,
for a
man.
Frank sighting.
I think we're gonna need him. I think we're gonna need him without Bullock.
You know, and then we play, and the week don't get no easier. We play the Cavs, and for what it's worth, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, the Cavs are a good team this year.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
So
are.
how many times we play the Cavs? Oh, damn.
Right. Nah, I feel you. I mean, the Cavs are 8-8. They lost their last game, but you know they're 4-6 in the last 10. But the Cavs are playing good basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to check, but I think they have one of the top defenses in the league as well. You know, so while out of these next 3 games, the Cavs are, the worst, that doesn't mean that they're an awful team. They just came off of beating Brooklyn twice. Right? I think they lost their previous game, but they came off of beating Brooklyn twice. Right now, the Cavs, and I don't want to talk too much about the Cavs, but, you know, offensively, they're in the middle of the pack in the league. Wait a minute. Let me get that right. Hold up. Offensively, no. I'm sorry. They're towards the bottom. Their shooting percentage is in the middle of the pack. You know, they're towards the bottom of the league with us in scoring at 104.3. But I think defensively, they're playing very well defensively, and part of that could be because they play a slower pace, like the Knicks. Yeah, they're 6th in the league defensively. They gave up 107.7 points per game. The Knicks give up 106.9 points. So that's not a game that I'm taking lightly when you talk about the Cavs. You're not taking them lightly at all. And then we play the Los Angeles Clippers. So this is still a tough. The Knicks have had a gruesome schedule, man. They've had a gruesome schedule.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams have we played that are below 500?
None.
Many. Like Sacramento.
Charlotte, maybe? Charlotte?
Charlotte, Sacramento. That's about it. I know. If I can think of anyway.
Orlando?
Yep.
I don't know if they were below 500 when we played them, but and even those teams, the only team that is really that was really far below 500 was Sacramento. All right, we played the Pacers. They're above 500. 76ers above 500. Milwaukee above 500. Cleveland, they're at 500. We lost to Toronto. They're below 500, but we lost to them. We played Indiana again above 500. We played Atlanta. I think Atlanta now is below 500, but at the time they were above 500. Utah is above 500. OKC, I think right now is what? Are they at 5? Are they above 500 or?
I think they lost the last game or two. I think one of them. I know they did.
Yeah, I think they went on a slight losing streak or something like that, or lost a couple of games. Right now, OKC they're 6-9, so they're below 500, and I think they were below 500 when we played them, or their win over us might have put them above 500. We played the Nuggets; they're above 500. Charlotte's below. Brooklyn is above. Cleveland is at 500. Boston is above. Orlando is below. Golden State's above. Sacramento's below. Portland is above. I mean, we played a lot of teams above 500. I think decent teams, man. And it's not getting any easier because we play Utah, Cleveland, and then we play the Clippers coming up.
I think the people who made the schedule wanted to really knock us out the box. I mean, they wanted us to be like 10 games below 500 or something like that. And we just proved them wrong. That's my opinion.
Hopefully.
That's my opinion.
Hopefully we're proving them wrong. You know what I mean? We still got some time to go.
Yeah, we do.
Before it's all said and done, we got some time to go.
Yeah, but if you would have told me that we were going right now, that we were going to be only 2 games below 500.
True.
If I would have told you that, I would have said, hey, Sam, we're going to be 2 games below 500. You probably would have been like, I don't know, Kev. Schedule's real tough and all like that and everything.
No, I agree with you 100% because, when I looked at the schedule, I was like, damn, like, it's a tough schedule right here, right now.
I always played the playoff team.
I was definitely looking at the schedule, like, bugging out a little bit. Any schedule predictions? What are you guys looking at over that schedule that I just named off? What do you think we're gonna do with that schedule this coming up week? Now the good thing is we get a little bit of a break. We play Utah tomorrow, then we get a couple of days to rest. So we can hopefully get our bearings, get some good practices in. And if you're going to see a change in the lineup, it would probably come over that period of time when we get able to get some practices in and stuff like that. Chop, what do you think, man? We play Utah, Cleveland, and then the Los Angeles Clippers.
Utah, Cleveland, and the Clippers.
That's our schedule this week.
And you just broke it down. The last time that Utah lost was against us, and they was what? Didn't you guys say it? 7 games straight?
8 games straight, man. 8 games straight.
8?
They're on an 8-game win streak.
They had us chalked in on the calendar. So, damn, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer. All right, Utah, Cleveland. I mean, we beat them, but they beat Brooklyn twice, but we lost to Brooklyn. So at a 3-game increments, the 3 games or 4 games?
Right now, these are 3 games. 3 games we're looking at this week.
All right, I don't want to get swept. So I'm going to say just 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2. Which one we getting? Cleveland? Because even that's going to be a tough game.
Right, I'm going to say the Clippers.
Oh, you saying the Clippers?
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Okay.
All right.
I had to shake it up. Sorry, Kev.
Okay. Tony,
I ain't mad at you.
What do you think, Tony? Looking at our schedule, man, what do you think?
I'm gonna agree with Chap, and we're gonna go on a 3-game losing streak and then beat the Clippers and start our win streak.
All right. I hope we can avoid that 3-game losing streak, man. Because right now we've lost 2 in a row. We lost to Sacramento. We lost to Portland. If we lose to Utah tomorrow, it's going to be a 3-game losing streak.
4-game losing streak.
4-game losing streak.
And then beat the Clippers and start our win streak.
Yeah, and you know what? I could see us being on a losing streak too, and that's a sign of a team that is growing and developing. Right, streaky. You play hot, and then you don't play hot. Play bad. Then you play hot. Then you play bad. You know what I mean? A team that's learning, a team that's growing. Andy, what's your prediction, man? Schedule prediction for this week.
Yeah, Sim, I'm already afraid about Kevin's predictions because we have such a hard schedule.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it.
It's going to win.
I knew it.
For the second, half of the schedule, that's going to be like all wins. We're going to go 72-0. But for real, I think we're going to lose with Utah. But I feel we might surprise everyone and get that Cavs game.
You said you might surprise everyone and get who?
The Cavs, right? Because we playing the Jazz, right? And then the Cavs and then the Clippers.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get the Cavs game.
But Andy, remember,
I don't know about
Andre Drummond is gonna throw Mitchell Robinson around like a ping pong ball. So I don't know.
I know, Chop, but I think we can't get swept by the Cavs. I know they're matching up with us pretty good, but I think
we wouldn't get swept. We did take one game from them. We did take one game, and they took one game.
Yeah,
from us.
Season, right?
Yeah, we won. No, we won one.
No, not in the regular season.
Yeah, we beat them during the regular season. We played them twice already.
Yeah, I know we played them twice, but I was thinking we lost both.
No, we won one.
We won the first one.
Oh, okay. Then, but so the better of that, we still can beat them the second time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take a W versus the Cavs. I know it's gonna be hard, but I think I think Thibs is gonna make that adjustment. It's gonna be the third game, so basically this is gonna be the last game versus the Cavs this season, if I'm correct, and I remember the schedule thing. So yeah, I don't know about the Clippers though.
Cornerstone, what do you think, man?
We're gonna
give me two. Give me 2 out of 1. Give me 2 out of 1. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. And I'm being optimistic. I think we can win tomorrow night. I think we could beat the Cavs. I think the game that we're probably going to lose. Oh, wait. No.
Yes, tomorrow the Jazz, not the Cavs.
No. I was just thinking. The Clippers don't have Montreal Harold no more. So Mitch might be able to eat on that. I'm going to go 0-3. We'll win all 3.
Told you, Sim.
We'll win all 3.
Yo, you losing if we go to Atlantic City, we losing.
Just so you know, they do still have a guy named Kawhi Leonard, and they said
and Paul George.
Paul George is playing MVP basketball.
That's fine.
So I don't think we worried about Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, they got a couple good basketball players over there. A couple guys you might have heard of, man. That's
all
pretty
right.
good over there.
I think. All right. Realistically, I think we'll win 2 out of the 3. I just don't know which one we'll lose because all 3 are formidable. So. There you go.
The good thing is it's at home.
Win tomorrow, and we'll be on this. We'll come back from the West Coast 2-2, and I think that's really good. Considering what we've been through.
Yeah, but Uncle Cornerstone, you think that the Jazz is not just waiting for us so they could beat us up from the last game?
They could, but I think we're formidable. I really think we're formidable. I think we can, if we put the type of effort that we put in the second half of yesterday, if we put that effort for a full 48 minutes, we can do this. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, look, they definitely got this one circled. They want this one back.
Okay.
Maybe for some reason.
But they will not have been off for a week either. So there you go.
No, that's true. But maybe for some reason the Knicks got their number. You know how every once in a while there's a team that has another team's number. Maybe the Knicks just got their number, and they can come out and get this win. But they're gonna be ready to play and try to.
And we have to be able to match their intensity. We have to match their intensity and withstand their punch because they're gonna throw some haymakers at us and everything. Right. And Utah is not a place that has been kind to us.
Well, there's no fans there either. So, I don't know. I don't know what the fans are going to be like. There could be a few fans there.
And we're not talking about Dirty Sloan era, right? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Is the altitude different between?
Yeah.
It is different, right?
It's the worst one, and Denver's the second worst one.
It's the second. I thought so.
Yeah. But also the thing that we got to consider is that this is the last game of a road trip, of a long road trip.
Right.
And players basically think about going home, and that's why we might be off on that game. And also, if you guys remember the Jazz game, they just didn't make the shots. It's not like we had great defense that we locked them up and stuff like that. Nah, they just didn't make the shots.
Well, no, I disagree. I think that our defense was right there as well. I mean, we got to give our deep. I mean, we're not number 1. No, we're number 5 now, right? Are we number 5?
Yeah, we still number 1 in percentage.
We're still number 1. Okay,
in certain categories. Yeah.
In certain categories, right?
Yeah, in certain categories. Yeah, we're not. That's not.
I'm not taking away it, but I'm telling you that I remember that game. I was like, oh, he didn't make it. Oh, he didn't make it. So, I believe that, they're one on a winning streak. And like Sim said, they got this game circled because they weren't expecting to lose versus the Knicks, the first game. So This one's going to be like a big revenge game for them.
I feel it. And, there were some lazy moments that they had. They had some lazy moments against us where, they slacked on defense. They didn't do some things. I do think that they thought that they would be able to walk through the Knicks. So, it's going to be a much more contentious game than it was the first time, I think. You know what I mean? And, Donovan Mitchell. And now, IQ, coming off of this game, he's got their attention. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to say, they're going to be thinking, we're not going to let this guy drop 31 on us. We're going to change that narrative quick. You know what I mean? So,
sorry. Don't mean to cut anybody off. But that's funny you said that because I was watching Terry and Trey. I don't know who's Trey or Terry. Terry is the mom. Trey is the son.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. He said, Donovan Mitchell tweeted that Quickley is balling and he deleted it. But he saw it.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell, they are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they are.
They're watching and they see. And now, after that game, he's on everybody's strategy board, okay? Now we got a plan for this guy. How are we going to deal with this guy? You know what I mean? Devon, what do you think about these games coming up, man?
I think we'll lose. My projection is I think we'll lose the Utah game and put us 3 games under 500. I think we go back home. I'm going to say we're going to win our 2 games in the Garden against Cleveland and the Clippers. That'll put us 1 game under 500 going in Chicago that next Monday or Tuesday. I think Knicks is a 500 ball club with Alex Burks coming back. Even before then, I thought they were a 500 ball club. So we lose to Utah, go back home, beat Cleveland and the Clippers, and then we'll see what's going on with Chicago that following week. Hopefully we stay around 500.
Yeah, and we play 2 games in Chicago that following week. 2 games in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're there for Chicago, Prince, what about you, man?
Honestly, Sim, I was very optimistic last week. This week, I think I'm gonna have to go 1-2. I think we definitely beat Cleveland, but obviously the Clippers, they playing a different brand of basketball. I don't know if I can call it championship basketball, but you can tell they woke up and they're playing basketball out there.
They're on a winning streak too, right, Prince? The Clippers?
What you say, brother?
No, they on a winning streak too, right? The Clippers?
Yeah, they on a 7-8 game winning streak as well. So, when teams like them see us, hopefully we can be a roadblock and not just, a doormat and get ran over. So again, I think we could beat Cleveland because I think we should have won that game early in the season. So I think that's the game that we emotionally get up for. But much like you said, I think Utah definitely, they know we're coming in. They know what we did to them that first game. And the Clippers, like I said, that's just a whole different monster. Those are veteran guys. So again, we can maybe outplay them early. But again, if Kawhi and Paul George is playing the way they play, we ain't got nothing for them.
I think they changed that game from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock too. I think that was a 1 o'clock game, but they moved it up to 5 o'clock.
Time changes, man.
So I just look forward to the next week. Those couple games that we got, the back-to-backs against Chicago, and then I don't know who else we have after them, but that's I hate to say it, but I'm looking past this schedule into the next week's schedule already.
So let me ask you all this. Let me ask the panel this.
Okay.
If we beat Utah, lose to the Cleveland, and beat the Clippers, what does that say about us?
Look, it says you got a haircut.
I'm gonna say we inconsistent.
Right. Inconsistent.
Yeah, inconsistent.
Yeah.
Because technically we shouldn't be. Well, I hate to say that's typical Knicks too. Because we'll be the team that we shouldn't be, and then when we play a team that we should be, we lose to. So technically, yeah, inconsistent. Definitely. We'll be happy if we get those W's, but with win spurts like that, we can't hang our hat on stuff like that because obviously
they're 2 quality teams. Teams that are in the playoffs.
Cleveland is, but when you're talking about LA and you talking about Utah, those are two definite top teams in the West that will be in the Western Conference Final, Eastern Conference Final
teams.
discussion.
Right.
Cleveland is not going. I mean, well, if they keep playing the way they can, they're not going to be in discussion for the Eastern Conference Finals. But again, they are playing a lot better. They're a better team, so you got to give them their respect. And they beat us. But bigger than that is, you know what I'm saying, it's just pound for pound. They're not the Clippers. They're not Utah either.
So Tibbs is not going to allow us to lose.
Well, I wouldn't say that either because, like Sim said last week, we lost to teams that we should win. We lost to Sacramento. We should have beat them. We lost to Cleveland. We should have beat them. You know what I'm saying? So that narrative that Tibbs ain't going to let us lose, I can't use that no more.
Yeah, that's
because,
true.
Again, I ain't even going to say that because I said we let Tibbs down. He gave us a plan. We didn't go out there and execute it. You know what I'm saying? We let Tibbs down, but to say that Tibbs isn't going to let us lose games to teams that we should beat, we're not that good yet, and we are not that consistent to say that yet. I think that, like what Cornerstone just said, I would have to just leave it there.
Yeah. So, well, before Prince, I wanted to give you a chance. I know you wanted to give us a little update on the Westchester Knicks, and we're going to start doing a segment on the shoot around just on the Westchester Knicks. We'll probably start that after the next game, so Wednesday. But if you want to give us just a quick little update on the Westchester Knicks, what's going on with them and their roster and all of that, we can really get into this segment on Wednesday. But
all right, cool. I would just start out with honestly one of our please don't quote me, but I think he was the 6th pick in the G League draft for us this year. Kid named Justin Patton. He was drafted out of Creighton in 2017 by Chicago and traded over to the Timberwolves where Tom Thibodeau was at. So he's a guy that Tom Thibodeau has cachet with, and he's a 7-footer, stretch big. If I could give comparisons to his game, I would say he could be a skinny Al Horford, if that makes sense to you guys. Just as far as Al Horford's game, inside, outside, can do a little bit of everything. A defensive anchor, not a great defender, but again, he can definitely help erase shots, help out on the backside on the defense. He's a guy with great touch. Has a knack for being selfless and passing the ball. So, I mean, I think, a lot of us has been complaining about New Orleans and not seeing Big Taj. I think the Brass has something up their sleeve for us. This kid, Justin Patton, I believe he will be a great contribution for us going forward if he is able to make the team. But I think he was a pretty heralded draft pick. And he was a pretty heralded draft pick in this G League draft. A lot of people are actually still looking at him. Teams who need stretch centers like the Lakers and guys like that. So, again, he could, even if he doesn't make our roster, he may be a potential trade asset that we may trade and pick up some pieces for. But I believe he would work perfect with our team, especially note to the fact that we have point guards to run pick and roll with him. That's one of his specialties as well. He's a pick and pop type of player. Very, like I was alluded to earlier, very soft touch around the basket. The kid's just a good player. He dropped 45, 13, 9, and 6 blocks last year for the Oklahoma City Thunder's G League team. So the guy has skill. I mean, you put up 45 points in G League, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, and 6 blocks. He almost had a quadruple double in the G League. So, you can call it what you want to call it. But again, I think this guy would definitely help stretch the floor, open up the floor for us, especially the second unit. So again, prayerfully, him working with our G League, Westchester Knicks, he'll be able to continue to grow. What hampered him, and I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, if he has all these great stats, why isn't he playing in the NBA? Right. When he was drafted, he broke his foot before Summer League to play with Minnesota. So he basically didn't get healthy until the end of his rookie career. got healthy, and I think they ended up packaging him and Derrick Rose and a couple other guys to trade. So that's how he kind of ended up becoming a journeyman. He bounced around to a couple teams, and as we see, ended up in the G League draft this season. But again, he's a guy who I think will definitely help the Westchester Knicks out, and could be a possible person that we bring up around that midseason mark.
Prince, real quick, do you see this management team and even Tibbs utilizing the G League? The reason why I say that is because the only person that we've really utilized from the G League is who's not with the team no more. Who is the point guard that we had last year that unfortunately we cut as well?
Kadeem Allen.
Yeah, Kadeem Allen. We really haven't utilized anyone else.
Well, what I was going to say is this. I believe so, due to the fact that when I did my research and find out, it's a I don't know, maybe Sim can pull it up for us, but there's a presser. Well, actually, I just found it. Wolves introduced first-round pick Justin Patton, and Tom Thibodeau himself gets a chance to go in depth about Patton and what he sees in Patton's game and how he likes Patton. And you know, like how we say about Tom Thibodeau, he's the guy who doesn't hold punches. And the way that he described Justin, I'm pretty sure he had, you know, like he had twinkles in his eyes when, you know, when he figured what he could do with him. So again, I believe because they have history and the fact that you know, he was the first draft pick for us in this G League draft. I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau had his thumbprint on that pick, just as well as, like we spoke about earlier, they respect his word in the front office, so that I'm pretty sure that was a pick and a thought that they all, you know, came together and made that decision that he could be somebody that would help out the you know, the Knicks, as well as grow and learn from the Westchester club. So Cornerstone, to answer your question, I believe so, definitely.
Okay. All right. So Prince, and to penny back off of Uncle Cornerstone, love you, salute.
Salute to you, Shop.
No, listen, didn't is Ignagus Brazdeikis had 50 points averaging in the G League, and he's getting no burn.
I don't know if he was averaging.
I don't think 50,
like,
yeah.
He was averaging like 20-some, 26, 27, but he was killing. He had a span of like 30-point game, right? Games. Yeah, he was average. He had a span of a couple 30-point games where, like, he's a guy that we'll see go to G League. We'll probably see Cornerstone's buddy, the point guard. What's his name?
Jared Harper.
We'll probably see Harper go down there. And like we said, I wouldn't be inclined to even maybe thinking that we might even get a stint with DSJ down there. You know, I think if they feel that they could use him or he could use the reps, I believe we will see DSJ down there. And again, it might make our team that much more.
They should have been sent him. They ain't got to do it. They should have been did it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they could have.
Let me ask you this. Just to get a quick look at the roster for this year. You got Jared Harper. You got Tyler Hall, Lewis King, Andrew White III. You got Trey Hollins. You got Bryce Brown. I can't say this. Scal Labissiere, James Young.
So we didn't give up Scal? Sorry to say that. I know, Sim, when you had broke that down earlier, was that Andy? One of you guys broke that down when we didn't know if he was going to be with the team or he was supposed to be going overseas. So we still have his rights.
It looks like he's still here. Yes. Looks like he's still here. Got James Young, Simi Shitu. Right? I didn't want to say shit too. All right. I didn't want to do that to the kid. You got Miles Powell, Theo Pinson, and then you got Justin Patton, who you were just talking about. And you
so-
know, as we get deeper into these segments, we'll break down these players and stuff like that, man.
What
Because
happened to the flamethrower, Miles? What's his name? Lamar Peters. What happened to him?
Lamar
Yeah.
Peters, he's no longer with.
Oh man, that
With the
was
squad.
He was one of those guys that was with the last regime, and I'm
Yep.
pretty sure they may have seen enough of him because again, he's a smaller guy too. He's like one of those 5'9", 5'10" type of guards, but I mean he's good, pretty good guard. But this was real small, wasn't consistent, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure they figured they would go in a different direction from him.
I wonder what it really, what it takes to really, if you're really kicking butt in the G League, and you can't even get a look when you're on the real team. It's like, why even have this league if you're not even if there's not even a chance that you'll be able to be called up? I'll call it the varsity.
I think it's more cornerstone. It's truly a league to develop. It's not necessarily a league to say that you necessarily deserve to be. I mean, yes, it is, but it's more of a league to actually learn. Like to get there, work on your skill, work on your game. And again, if you can torch G League cats, you should be able to come up to your ball.
And that's exactly, and that's what I'm getting at with Iggy. Yeah, because if he was scoring like that in the G League, there should be no reason why he should be only getting crumbs.
Well, like Sim said, we seen Iggy, and do you think does Iggy truly look like a guy who that what I'm saying that looks like he was scoring 35 in G League?
No, unfortunately, he doesn't.
Iggy that we see.
Yeah,
right. And the thing also, Kev, is you can try to develop somebody all you want, it still doesn't mean that they're gonna make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It still doesn't mean that.
Andy, before we go to Andy, this is why we need 2 more teams or 4 more teams in the NBA. Vancouver, Seattle, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sam, you need a hammer like a judge and be like, order, let Andy speak now, because Kevin's like busting. I got like 4 questions.
Good. I'm glad I'm doing it to you. I'm glad I'm doing it to you.
I had 1 in my head. Now I have like 4. Prince, first thing, are we going to be able to watch the Westchester Knicks games on YouTube like a couple of years ago for free? And they're going to be transmitted there.
I don't know. That's what me and Sam have been trying to get the information as far as when we start. I know the bubble should be starting soon. I don't have a date for sure, but
Okay.
I can get it.
Okay. They play with MSG too, MSG Plus, if you will, or no?
Well, the fact that they're going to be in a bubble, I got a feeling that they're going to. I'm pretty sure that the NBA is going to want to get some money off of that. So there has to be somewhat, of a. Some camera crew there that's broadcasting.
And it's at Walt Disney World, right? Is that Walt Disney World?
Yeah. So it's in Walt Disney. They could be played on Twitch as well. There were some games on Twitch last year. I used to watch the Westchester Knicks on Twitch last year.
Nickelodeon could be an option again.
What they say on the website, the Westchester Knicks, the official NBA G League affiliate of the New York Knicks, announced its roster for the 2021 NBA G League season. For its 7th season, the Knicks will be one of 17 NBA G League teams to participate at ESPN Worldwide of Sports Complex at Walt Disney Resort near Orlando beginning in February. The complete 2021 NBA G League game and broadcast schedule will be announced at a later date. So they don't have those broadcast schedules yet.
Okay.
Probably ESPN, like ESPN Plus, ESPN2, especially if that's ESPN's, compound down there. I'm quite sure they're going to want.
That's true.
Yeah, there's stuff to go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next question was about the guys that I don't know if you guys remember, we were signing players and then like cutting them like 2 days later.
Yep.
And I was thinking if we got all of those guys that we signed and like re-signed them with the Westchester Knicks, because then they didn't have to go through the draft, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to look up that list that we were doing.
Yeah,
this time.
so like Miles, what was that? Miles Powell, that other guy who played the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brown, who played with him.
Yeah. Again, a couple of those guys are already on the roster.
Oh, so we did keep them there.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yeah. A couple of those guys are already on the roster. So, yeah.
And my also question was like if for example we want to put in Theo Pinson and Iggy right on that roster, how's going to be the process of him coming back to the NBA roster if he's going to have that again the 7-day period?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. We have to figure that out. But that's a good question. What's that going to be like if as far as them being in a bubble and if they're going to move back and forth? I'm thinking that if they're going to be in that bubble, once they get in that bubble, maybe they have to stay in that bubble. Or I guess if they do get called up, there's going to be some kind of protocol to say you got to go straight to your team and you got to go through, just like if you sign a free agent.
Yeah, I think they only sent one. I think they only sent Jared Harper. I was saying Harper. Yeah, that's the only one they sent from our team. That the current NBA team was the only one going to Jared Harper. Yeah, he's the only one going.
So what about Theo Pinson? Because Theo Pinson is on a 2-way contract as well.
Yeah, on a 2-way. I think he's staying. The Knicks didn't send him. From what I read the other day and what I heard, they only sent in Jared Harper. That was it.
Yeah, but Theo Pinson's on a dance squad, so I don't think he needs
to. And like Mark said, he want to do the what you call it that dance they be doing that. We need him on the sideline.
Hey guys, is it 45 days or 45 games? Is it 45 days or 45 games?
It's 45 games, I believe.
Games? Okay, it's games.
Yeah, it's 45 games.
So that means Jerry Harper can come back then. Yeah.
So that means we're gonna see a lot of basketball then, a lot of G League basketball. If that's the case. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be doing every show we'll be doing an update on the Westchester Knicks. So we know what's going on, and hopefully, they're a lot easier to get to, when it comes to trying to get interviews and stuff like that. Unfortunately, with the way things are right now, it's almost impossible to. Well, we won't be getting to any games because they'll be down in Orlando in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? But, there may be some other things we'll be able to do. I know last year, the year before, they had said that we could come to some games and get some media passes to some games. Can't happen this year, but maybe some other things could go down. Tony?
Quick question. Anybody with knowledge can answer. The high school guys that are going directly to the G League, they weren't involved in a draft. They go to a particular team, right? So I think there's a G League draft, right? And then they draft that player. But once the G League drafts that player, they're open to sign with any team in the NBA. Next year.
Yeah.
Is it next year? Or, yeah, probably next year.
As far as I know, it's him. I think they are going to be a lot. They can go to the draft after playing a season in the G League.
Right. They can go to the draft because anybody who plays in the NBA has to be in the draft.
Yeah.
I get that. But the G League draft, they're not involved in that. They're going to a particular.
They went to one team. Right. The guys that they had an option. Like, you don't have to go to college. You just can sign with the G League team, and then you can apply after the season in the G League team. You can go to the draft. So basically, you can sign a player from that certain draft team.
What is the makeup of the rest of that team? Because they don't have all kids coming out of high school, right?
Yeah, but they could have drafted like a couple of players from this year's G League draft, and those players can be picked up. Just the ones
they were involved in the draft,
can be picked up.
But those players weren't. I got it.
Yeah,
there's only like 6 or 7 of them though. Jalen Green, right? And there was like couple, like 2-3 names that were that are going to be good in next year's draft. They're not going to be like top 5 probably, but I think that they might be in like considered lottery talents.
So that means everybody's opposed to drafting players from high school instead of letting them develop in college, or?
No, they just gave him the option because people still some players like Mitch Robinson, he applied for college, he never played a game in college, and he basically lost a year, right? So they said like, well, many of players were doing like that. So why not give them a chance just to play in some kind of program that they don't come into NBA and run around like chicken without head.
And teams
Right.
Yeah. So they just put them in a program with professional coaches and and they already give them the courses of how to be a professional, how to get that money, in line and stuff like that. So they don't come in like.
So we bring them in raw with no development.
It's like minor league baseball, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, it's like minor league baseball.
And remember when the Knicks were signing all those players, right? And we were wondering what was happening. So, and we just asked, are they on the roster? And so in the G League, you're allowed to have affiliate players. NBA teams can tab up to 4 training camp cuts as affiliate players, right? So some of those guys that the Knicks were signing end up on the G League team as an affiliate player.
Yeah. That's why we were doing like signing them, and 2 days later, we're like,
right. So if you look,
rights to them.
Exactly. So if you look right now, I'm showing the roster on the board. You see Lewis King, he's an affiliate player. Scal Labissiere, he's an affiliate player. James Young, he's an affiliate player. Miles Powell, he's an affiliate player. If you remember, these are guys, obviously we know about Miles Powell, but these are guys that were signed and everyone was like, hey, what's going on? Why are the Knicks, signing these players and then waiving them or whatever was going on? These guys ended up being affiliate players on the Westchester Knicks.
Yeah,
so
they already got drafted by NBA team. Like what, Young? I mean, he was Young. He was with the Boston. Scalabrine, I think, was with Sacramento when he first came in. I think.
Yeah.
Brown.
Sacramento, Portland.
Yeah. I like that game, man. I liked his game. I thought he was pretty nice.
So what happened to Alonzo Trier? Is he on a G League team somewhere, or?
He got drafted by, I forgot who, Iowa. I think he got drafted by the Iowa team or something like that. So, but anyway, guys, I am going to head out.
Hey, my brothers.
I appreciate your time. Devon, do you want to talk about what you got going on later on tonight?
Yeah, 7:00. Knicks first quarter of the season in review. I'm just going to be going over things. The first quarter of the season. What we did, how we did, what we think about the team overall in the first quarter of the 18 game, because this is the 18th game. We played against Portland, 72 game season, so we're in the first quarter. I'm just going to go on the live stream, man, and just talk about how we see the Knicks in the first quarter of the season and what we think going forward. I mean, this is, my first live stream. I'm excited about it, And if you get to join in, come on in, man. And if not, you can always check the video out once I post it up when it's finished. But it's going to pretty much be that. Probably pull up some statistics, some stats, talk about the players and, the organization, what Rose did when he signed Rose, that we brought in this person, that person. Just talk about the Knicks overall in the first quarter of the season and how we got the season started. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to, be pretty. It'll be my first time hosting my own show, giving my own, my thoughts and ideas and my opinions coming from me to the panel or to the chat. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it should be fun.
Yeah. Do you have a link to the actual video?
I sent the link to YouTube. Yeah, I sent the link to. I put a link in the chat yesterday to YouTube. And I'll redo it again. I'll do it again. I'll send it when we get off the chat. I'll do it again because I just got to get this.
Yeah, because if you can put it in here, then I can put it in the YouTube chat right now, so people know where to get to it.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, if you can put it in the Zoom chat, or if you just type something in the regular chat, then I can tell it.
That's what I did yesterday.
Yeah,
if
you go to the YouTube chat right now, just type anything right now, then people can click on your. They can click on your name and get to your channel, so they can subscribe to the channel.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, man. I think I'm feeling fun. I'm excited about it. Like I said, thanks to your inspiration and all the brothers that and sisters that be in the chat like this here, and this Nick Real Talk, man. That's what my show is about. This Nick's Real Talk, just like we do here. I try to do real talk. That's what I do. No propaganda, no hyperbole, real talk. Facts, no fiction. Just trying to bring another platform to the Knicks fans out here. Because you do such a great job, bringing our community out here, and just being a part of another community, man. To all the streams, man. No matter what platform you're on, we talking Knicks. And that's what it's really about. just trying to bring more Knick talk to the universe, man, to the Knick fans. So, and I'm excited about it, man.
We love that, Unc.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get up out of here. Devon, if you want to get that in the chat, go ahead and get that in the chat. I know Tony, you got a Knicks and Bruises episode later on today.
Oh, 5 o'clock. Between 5 and 5:30. I got Ebro coming on.
Oh, good.
Yeah, okay. Make sure you check that out, man. Die Hard Knicks and Tony Crow doing a Knicks and Bruises episode. So if you want to put that, if you want to, just type something in the chat so people can click on your link, Tony, and go subscribe to Knicks and Bruises. Make sure you guys go check those things out. It's happening today. We got one at 5, one at 7. They're going to be some good shows. So make sure you go check them out, man. I should be joining Divine for at least a few minutes on his show, on the quarter show. So make sure you go check it out tonight.
Yeah,
7 o'clock.
I'm excited, man. Cause like I said, I do want to make sure that I give my props to NBK, and I appreciate you coming on because like I said, to be able to recognize where I get my energy from and where I get my inspiration from. It's important that I make sure that NBK get plugged tonight because it's just so important to me that you get plugged for giving us brothers that platform, and you are giving us a platform to voice our opinion. So pick up the NBK tonight because I'm gonna be shouting you out big time tonight, man.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and I'm honored to be there. You know what I'm saying? So that's Knicks Real Talk at 7. You got Knicks and Bruises at 5. And make sure you go check out the episode I did with Tony on Knicks and Bruises. Go on his YouTube page and check out the episode I did where we talk about some of the most painful Knicks moments in recent history. All right, so make sure you go check that out. Knicks and Bruises at 5, Knicks Real Talk at 7, and whoever else, Legion of Knicks, I'm sure is coming on tonight. And Blonde Stairs is coming on at 11:45. You already know that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head up out of here. Make sure you check those things out. I'll also put the links to those videos in the description as soon as I get those links so you can go check them out, ladies and gentlemen. All right? I appreciate you. And as per usual, spread love, ladies and gentlemen. We out of here. I almost forgot what I was about to say.